Jessica Arp talked to those who worked with him and learned from him during his tenure with the Madison School District. Jessica?
Well, the descriptions range from mentor to counselor to father or just a shoulder to lean on. But it's assured Milt McPike made his mark on thousands in the Madison School District. McPike's most well-known post was as principal of East High School, where he led teachers and students for 23 years before his retirement in 2002. There are now teachers at East who are both students and teachers under McPike's watch, and they say his legacy will live in the building forever.
There's something special about being on the East Side, and Milt certainly cultivated that with his vision, his inspiration, his charisma. He's the most charismatic person I've ever met.
Now, what many teachers and students most notably remember about McPike, his striking presence in the hallways. McPike stood at 6'4", but you'd think he's one of the crowd by looking at this. He made a point to interact with students in the hallway each and every day. Arrangements have been made for McPike's memorial. A visitation will be held Wednesday, April 2nd from 5 to 8 p.m. in the East High Fieldhouse, which is actually named after McPike. The funeral will be at 11 a.m. Thursday, April 3rd at Christ Presbyterian Church on Gorham Street.
Oh, it's such a huge loss, such a sad day. Jessica, thank you.
And later on in this newscast, we'll visit with a former school board member who worked closely with Milt McPike. Coming up, remembering Milt McPike.
We'll talk with one of his former colleagues and a close friend, Juan Jose Lopez, about the impact McPike had on the community and generations of students. We told you earlier in the show tonight about the sad passing of former East High School principal Milt McPike.
McPike is being remembered as a truly great man by the countless students, teachers, parents, and co-workers whose lives he touched. One of them is former school board member Juan Jose Lopez, who's joining us tonight. Juan, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you.
What do you remember most about Milt?
You know, he was a friend, a mentor. He just loved people. He loved young people especially. You know, a lot of people, I've gotten a lot of calls today from former students, some faculty and so forth, people just asking about him, and it's just really sad. It's a big loss, a tremendous loss. He cared about young people. He put young people first. And, you know, I saw him as a father. I saw him as a mentor. And a lot of students that I've talked to, a lot of people I talked to yesterday were crying. A lot of people that I've talked to today were crying. It's a very emotional time. Mm-hmm. I'm sure the sympathies to the family. It's extremely important. He loved his sons. He loved his sons and his stepchildren as if they were his own. And he just carried that on with young people at East High School, at West High School, and in the community.
He was such an icon in the community. And a lot of people have been so surprised and shocked because many didn't know that he was sick.
He was very private about it. You know, I went and visited him once, and we never really talked about it. He said, you know, I have cancer. And he talked about it just real briefly, and then we talked about just a lot of great things that were going on, his recent appointment to the Board of Regents at the time. Mm-hmm. He talked about his kids. He talked about his woodworking. He has a garage where he lives in Mazomanie dedicated to woodworking. That's what he'd like to do. And he liked to do a lot of other things. Just a great man, a great father, a great principal, and a great teacher, because he was also a teacher at one time. And just, you could see it. And the thing about Milt is that he didn't see any... He didn't notice people for their racial background or their class background. He looked at everybody the same, and that was special.
Mm-hmm. How do you think he'll be looked upon 10, 15 years from now?
Well, you know, I think his legacy, I hope that this community, the school district, decide to rename the school Milt McPike High School. I think that would be East High School to change the name. He deserves it. He's earned it. I think people will remember him as a caring and loving giant person who just made sure that everybody succeeded. He wanted success for his kids, for his staff, for his family, for his children. He wanted success for everybody, and that was Milt McPike. He embodied success, and everybody, I felt it. You could just feel it when you walked into East High School. When he was at a meeting, he commanded respect. He commanded admiration, and I think that's what he'll be remembered for.
We've changed the names of schools in the Madison district before, but we've never done that at the high school level. Is that right?
I don't think that's ever happened. I don't think it's ever happened, but it would be a good honor because, again, he did a lot. I mean, I miss him. When I got the phone call yesterday morning, I cried, and I was in disbelief. I guess more in denial, but I expected it, but at the same time, you know, I hoped it wouldn't happen. So He deserves only great things because he was a great man.
Yeah,
A great man.
He truly was. Juan, thanks for being with us
Thank you
today.
for sharing
Thank you.
memories of him
Thank
today.
you very much.
People in the News is coming up.